Welcome to Two Wheels, and on this week's show we're back in Morocco, where we'll see how the bikes are prepared for a journey of some 700 miles across the desert. And we'll take some star pupils, in fact the star boys, to do their CBT. Wayne will be showing us some trendy bike clothing in his warehouse, but first here's Jeff at this year's classic show in Stafford.
Now, once upon a time, when we didn't have such thing as disc brakes, we used to have drum brakes. What's a drum? It's down here. This wheel here is actually off a Manx Norton, and this is the drum. This is a famous conical hub, they used to call these. So there's the drum itself, cast iron, nicely turned out, and in there you had brake shoes that fitted. If I just put that down a tick, you can actually see on here, this is what they call the brake plate, which ran on the outside there. In there were mounted two brake shoes. There they are, pivoting up there, and there was a lever in there. So when the lever went through there, it opened these shoes like that. That closed up against that steel drum. And of course, it had to have on there some fibre material. There's the actual friction material. So you've now got brake pads, but this is the same friction material riveted onto those. That whole assembly would then simply fit in here like so. Put the front brake on, pull on your lever, open those. With a bit of luck, you'd actually stop. So let's see how brakes have developed on bikes through the years. And here's a complete brake assembly fitted on the 1949 BSA, typical of the era. This one's got the brake plate, and you can see the lever there moving there. That's opening the shoes inside, which are clamping on the drum. Of course, when you apply the brakes, you generate a lot of heat, and you've got to get rid of that in some way. A disc brake is dead easy, but with a drum brake, more of a problem. So what they've done on this aerial of the mid-50s is fit some fins, or actually cast fins into the actual brake drum, and you can just see them there. The brake's the same, but it's got added fins to dissipate the heat. Of course, in the heat of competition, if you'll excuse the pun, like on this competition Greaves, this motocross bike, they've got big aluminium hubs here with fins going the other way. These actually go across it, they're cast in there, steel liner within that drum, but it's all alloyed to get rid of that heat much faster, and it saves those fins getting clogged with mud, making them as big as they are. Now, by the late 1950s, they fitted full-width brake hubs, like on this beautiful Norton, the old Norton Dominator. Now, all those fins that you could see running around that brake hub, they gave you the impression that, in fact, there were brake shoes running across the whole width, but they weren't, but it made it look good. It looked cleaner than having that old steel hub lopsided on one side, and this was it, the full-width brake hub. Now, as bike performance increased over the decades, and coming up to the late 60s, early 70s, brakes got bigger, of course, but not only that, they actually developed what they were called a twin leading shoe version. On this BSA, for instance, you can see down there, there's a lever that the cable pulls on, then it operates a rod to a second lever, so it operates both ends of those brake shoes, so you got more braking power. Now, if you were seriously fast and you were in some serious competition, you needed some serious brakes. Look at these here, front brake lever's got two cables on it. One up above the lever, one below the lever. Why is that? I'll show you. Down here on this beautifully engineered Fontana front brake on this MV, see that? Not only is it twin leading shoe this side, you can see them operating, it's twin leading shoe on the other side. See the big air scoop there as well? So this made a 4 leading shoe front brake. Serious stopping power.
Working on two wheels, we get the chance to travel all over the world. And that gives us the chance to meet you people, the bikers. Many of the people that we meet at the shows are lady bikers. And you all say the same thing. You say we don't do enough for you lady bikers. So here's your chance to get involved. Write to us at this address. It's Two Wheels Men and Motors, Granada TV, Key Street, Manchester, M60 9EA. Or alternatively, you can send us an email. Here's the address, twowheels@granadamedia.com. This is a chance for you lady bikers to get involved with this show. Tell us what you ride, tell us what's good and bad in the world of biking. And if we're very impressed, we might just invite you out to spend the day with us, come and do a test ride. I might even let you have a ride on my bike. This is the Wheels Park here just outside the city centre of Birmingham. As you can see, it's a motorcycle training centre, amongst other things, lots of different facilities here. Of course, they do CBT here. Well, we've brought 3 pupils along today to have a go at their CBT, so let me introduce you to our star pupils.
First thing you want to do, just go through your names, a little bit of what your previous experience on a motorcycle is. Start with you guys.
My name's Scott, Caribou lad, and I've never rode a motorcycle before.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to learning about all the safety issues.
You have nothing to worry about, don't worry. We'll look
Okay.
after you.
Joe Frazier. I'm here today to learn the safety features I need to have on when I go out there and ride.
Excellent. Good positive attitude.
Thank you.
Good.
Same thing, never ridden. I'm pumped up. Get on those new
Stoked.
125s. Can't wait.
Totally stoked to be here.
What you do gain is a certain amount of integral protection. You paying attention to this?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was drifting on.
That's it.
So this right here
Yeah.
wouldn't be considered a helmet?
Probably not. If it's not got a BS standard on it,
I got the.
would not recommend.
It's made out of poly cotton. It's got this 50% polyester and 50% cotton blend. But I heard in the States you can get away with using these as helmets.
What we've got here, Honda CG125, 4-stroke, 125cc motorcycle. Okay.
Same thing, but I stood up.
Same thing. First of all, standing up on the bike, I would class as being pretty dangerous.
To the positive. My deductible.
Now that's not what I told you to do, is it?
Right.
Well, I thought that was fantastic, really, really entertaining, but the man who really matters is Mike Lloydall, the instructor here. So Mike, how were the guys? Were they all right?
I think, you know, we've got a little bit of work to do. We've got a level here where there is some machine control, but I mean, I think at the end of the day, my main recommendation would be a small car.
Yeah. Have you actually seen any of the guys' videos or anything like that before they arrived today?
I've got to say, once I was warned that I was going to be doing this today, I did watch one of the videos last night and I didn't sleep.
Well, all the bikes are in one piece, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. To give the guys their due, they behaved themselves pretty well today. I think it's only when I turn my back that they did mess around. Generally speaking, there's got to be a level of respect there for the machine control that they've got.
Well, they did mess about a bit, because when you nipped in there for a break or something, you said, take 10 minutes, guys, park the bikes up. When you came out, I think one was stood on the seat, one was riding backwards, and one was riding over the grass.
So what you're telling me really is, do I have a job still?
I think you do. You weren't here, actually, to control it at the time, so we can't blame you for that. No, but they did all right, didn't they?
They did well.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're good riders, aren't they?
They are. You know, I think it's a real surprise by the way they behaved. And I'm really, to be fair to them, they were genuinely interested in the law over here and the safety aspect, because they have nothing like it in the States.
Well, they don't even have a law where they live.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They just do what they want. Right, okay, so it's a good advert for your CBT, you see, isn't it? If the Star Boys can do it, anyone can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thoroughly.
Wheels. What's so different about them all? Well, let's start off with this one. This one happens to be from a Ducati. It's a front wheel, but it looks incredibly wide. It looks more like a back wheel, but I assure you it is a front. It's aluminium alloy, so it's very, very light. And it also looks pretty tricked, doesn't it? But what's so important about lightweight? Well, it reduces unsprung weight and it reduces gyroscopic effect. I'll show you more on gyroscopic effect a bit later. But on the unsprung weight bit, you imagine if you had this actually hanging off a spring and you let it go, it'd bounce up and down like that. Well, if it was very heavy, there'd be far more inertia in the thing and it'd actually slow that spring down. A lighter one allows the spring to work much better, and that's what you want to happen with your suspension. So that's an alloy wheel. Here's a spoked one, but with an alloy rim. Used to be very popular in the 60s, but also you get these on trail bikes. So you've got a centre hub of alloy, then steel spokes, then the alloy rim. Fairly light. In fact, it actually feels lighter than that one, but it is of a smaller section. Also, another snag with, well, it's not a snag with wheels, it happens to be a reality. Spoke wheel, you can't use tubeless tyres. And why not? Because the air goes round the spoke nipples there and escapes, so that's no good. If I had a BMW rim here off one of their cruisers, you'd see that the spokes actually go into the side of the rim there, and it comes under the bead or just outside the bead, so you can run tubeless tyres on some spoke wheels, but not this one. Coming back to a steel wheel, like you get on a cruiser, but this one isn't off a cruiser, this one is really heavy. And again, you've got, that's rim tape there, but there's the spokes coming through. Steel rim, alloy hub, steel spokes, but very, very heavy. But that gyroscopic effect I told you about, if I spin this one up and get it going, and then you move the spindle, you can feel that that wheel is stopping you actually moving the wheel. So the more inertia and more mass that you've got in that rim, the more difficult it is to actually steer the bike. So a nice light wheel, quick steering, better handling.
Well, that's all for part one, but join us after the break when we'll be looking at some trendy bike gear with Wayne, and we'll be seeing how the bikes are prepared for a trip across the Moroccan desert, and see how the Starboys get on when we let them loose on four wheels in some twin-engine go-karts. Welcome back to Two Wheels, and still to come this week, Wayne has some trendy bike gear. There'll be more from the Starboys, but first we're off to Morocco.
Bikes have just arrived over from Andorra to Morocco, so we've got a lot of preparation, change sprockets, general services, oil changes, make sure the bikes are all running right by testing them. That's general preparation on the bikes, just general overhaul really. We carry enough spares to more or less kit another bike if anything goes wrong. Also, the most important stuff is the first aid kit we carry. Loads of first aid kit. We've got a blow-up stretcher which will totally, we can put someone, it'll totally stop them from moving. We've got all sorts like that. Bike spares, we've got spare wheels, spare tyres, handlebars, nuts, bolts, washers, inner tubes, anything we might need.
You'd be amazed how much equipment we have in this car. This is heavy shite.
Mechanical experience, I do all my own maintenance at home. Obviously we're working with the Hondas for the last few years. Got quite a lot of experience with them. So anything that goes wrong, we can mend. Yeah, front wheel's just a wee bit buckled, but nothing to worry about, I don't think. Got handlebars like that, it's all twisted in the yokes. For one, I don't think there's any air in the front tyre either. If there is, it's not a lot. Quite a bit, but tyre kicker there. Probably not enough. Yeah, tyre kickers. Just wants tweaking around, we'll straighten it up.
I've just had 2 months off where it's been spent solely stripping the bikes, rebuilding them, changing bearings. A couple of them had rebores, new pistons and rings. They're like new, except for the plastics, which is scratched up. I've got 100% confidence in the Honda XRs. We've had 75 of them and never ever had any problems actually on the trail with them, ever.
Well, 12 bikes, we've brought them all down to the garage here. We've given them all a full service, we've checked everything's tight on them. Checked all the footrests, kickstarts. We've had one with a bent footrest, we had to take it off, renew it. Kickstart or baggy was catching that, we've renewed that. Checked the air filters on them all. Chain and sprockets, oiled all the chain and sprockets. We had two with problems with the front ends. One foil was up in the yokes, we've had to bring that down, straighten everything up, and the other one, all the front end was twisted. So we've loosened everything off with it up on blocks, twisted, straightened everything back up, it's alright. Tyre pressures on them all, done the tyre pressures, washed them all. It's been about it, since spent today just generally fettling them.
And so with the bikes prepared, all that remains is to load up the support truck. Everything has its place and nothing must be forgotten. Spare parts, spare fuel, food and most importantly a good supply of clean water. The desert can be a pretty hostile place. It's not just trail style and off-road machines that you'll see in the desert. You'd be amazed at the kind of machines that pass through a region like this. And the camaraderie experience between bikers is of course a worldwide thing. These passing French motorcyclists couldn't resist the opportunity to stop for a chat. And of course to wish our team well for what was to be a demanding journey ahead.
You know, there's no doubt about it, there are hundreds, thousands even, of different motorcycle jackets for you guys out there to buy. But usually, like this one, they're always sort of bikey in every sense of the word. They look very bikey, very sportive, usually in multicolours and so on. Now this is a very good bit of kit. It's a Belstaff jacket called the Meriden, and it's actually 200 quid's worth because it's fully functional, loads of different features about it, warm and dry and so on. But we want something more casual, so we don't want that now, do we? Because like what we want is something more casual like this. This is from Risha, this is called the Fly, plain colour, in this case black, they do it in a brown as well. It is 100% waterproof, it has got the protection, and it does look very casual, but it's not very flashy. We want something with a bit more style, so we'll get rid of that. What we want is something like this. This is called X0. It's actually a model that is made initially for the scooter guys, but it's a nice casual jacket, looks very much like a snowboardy jacket, but it's still practical on the bike because it's got body armour in it, it's 100% waterproof, and you can remove the armour and also the liner from the inside, so you can use it as casual and in warm weather, so you're nice and cool. Everything you want, and that's £120. Now it just so happens, oh would you believe it, it's my size, I like the colour, and you know, it's my birthday this year. Now, you know I always like to bring you some fancy new products to have a look at. Well, I'm definitely going to do that, but this is a slight different thing because it's an old name. 20 years ago, this particular company, RI, brought into this country for more than £100. Yes, 20 years ago, more than £100, a crash helmet. And it was called the Astro, and that's what this is. This is the rebirth, if you wish, of the Astro, but it's very, very much different to the old one, not only in its price, which is £420, also in its construction. It's very, very, very high tech, and I have gone out of the way to make it very, very quiet as well. So that's the idea, with loads of flush venting, a nice seal on the visor, and a washable waterproof liner, and the skirt on the bottom there has been designed specially so it lets a limited amount of draft get in there, therefore limit the amount of noise as well.
I don't understand what's going on here. Don't understand what's going on here.
Earlier in the show we met the Starboys having some fun doing their CVT, but I can report that they're just as much fun when they're actually off the bikes. And of course, being Americans, they like their burgers big. There's no doubting their ability on 2 wheels, but I can report that they're just as competitive when it comes to 4, certainly when it's a twin-engine go-kart. Well, there'll be more motorcycle mayhem from the Starboys on 2 wheels next week. Also, in next week's show, we catch up with our riders in Morocco as they tackle their first proper day in the desert. And I catch up with a man trying to make his mark in the competitive world of stunt riding, Liverpool's Sammy Mack.